Finally today, this is what I've been worried about for a long time now. Several times over the life of this podcast, I've taken pains to highlight stories warning about the dangers of industrial hacking, by which I mean hackers, doing something like making a chemical factory down the road from your city go boom, or something like that. I don't mean to be alarmist, but if you're a believer in keeping an eye out for black swan phenomena, I think that this sort of hacking is probably one of the most proximate and worrying black swans out there right now. And it looks like we just dodged one. Police say a computer in a water treatment plant in Florida set up for remote access was breached by an intruder who then tried raising the sodium hydroxide levels in the water. This was in Pinellas County, sort of the Oakland to Tampa's San Francisco, basically the community across Tampa Bay from Tampa, quoting Vice. During a press conference, Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri said that a legitimate operator saw the change and quickly reversed it, but signaled that the hacking attempt was a serious threat to the city's water supply. Sodium hydroxide is also known as lye and can be deadly if ingested in large amounts. Quote, the hacker changed the sodium hydroxide from about 100 parts per million to 11,100 parts per million, Gualtieri said, adding that these were dangerous levels. When asked if this should be considered an attempt at bioterrorism, Gualtieri said, quote, what it is someone hacked into the system not just once, but twice, opened the program and changed the levels from 100 to 11,100 parts per million with a caustic substance. So you label it however you want. Those are the facts, end quote. In smaller quantities, sodium hydroxide can cause severe skin burns and eye damage. Small amounts of sodium hydroxide are put into some cities' drinking water supplies to prevent corrosion to pipes and bring up the pH level. It's a strong base, apparently. Quote, the person who remotely accessed the system for about 3 to 5 minutes, opening various functions on the screen, Gualtieri said during the press conference. One of the functions opened by the person hacking into the system was one that controls the amount of sodium hydroxide in the water, end quote. Gualtieri said that on Friday at 8 a.m., a plant operator at the Old Mar water treatment facility noticed someone remotely accessing the system that he was monitoring. The system was deliberately set up with a piece of remote access software so that, quote, authorized users could troubleshoot system problems from other locations, Gualtieri added. Quote, the intruder exited the system and the plant operator immediately reduced the level back to the appropriate amount of 100, Gualtieri added. Gualtieri said that steps were taken to, quote, stop further remote access to the system, end quote, and that there are other safeguards to protect the water integrity in place. The county sheriff's office has started a criminal investigation along with the FBI and the Secret Service, Gualtieri said, end quote. So I don't know. Seems like something that should be bigger news, maybe. An entire city was almost potentially poisoned, and it didn't end up happening only because we got lucky and someone just happened to see it. Also, why in God's name does a system like this need to be connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form in the first place? Air gapping, people, for F's sake.